62 out of the top 100 people in the world are hunters right now, so let's abuse their builds before it is too late. Now there is gonna be two competing builds for the melee hunter, and I say this because I completely expect Blizzard to nerf the lone wolf rune to the ground after this build, but we are not gonna talk about the secondary build for later. We're gonna probably talk about it when they nerf it and we know what the nerfs are. There is gonna be another backup build we can go for. I'm gonna talk about the best one right now. We are going survival because it has all the good melee talents, even though their keystone talent is completely useless. First of all, we are gonna be taking humanoid slaying. For damage against humanoids, they are the most common boss type. Then we can take 2 points in parry here, it doesn't matter, it's pretty useless. And then here we are gonna be taking Savage Strikes, 20% more damage on Raptor Strike, that's pretty stupid. Then we gotta take 3 more talents here, it doesn't really matter what you take, they're all useless. This one here, Monster Slaying for Beasts, it could be useful, but there is not beast in gnomeregan. Were it any other tier it could work. I'm gonna take it just for the memes, it doesn't really matter, all the talents here are pretty useless. And then here we're gonna be taking Survivalist for 10% more HP, that's pretty simple. Then we are gonna be taking Clever Trap because it's gonna give us more damage. Damage is good. And right here, look at this, Sure-Footed, 3% hit chance, of course that is really strong. And here, this is the big one, we're gonna be taking this for 3% crit, Killer Instinct. Now once again we gotta waste 2 points on whatever you feel like wasting them. I don't know, I'm gonna throw it on Trap Mastery so they cannot resist your traps more. It doesn't really matter, again all the talents are useless. Now here is the important talent of your build. This is the keystone right here. This keystone is useless. This is the real one, okay? 15% agility. Remember that hunters get 1 attack power from agility and the crit. So agility is your best stat anyway, and you get 15% of it extra for free. That is what is making the hunter so hard scaling right now. You have 1 more point left, and again the talents are still useless, that hasn't changed. You can waste them on whatever you want. I don't know, like 1% pet HP, you like pet HP, it doesn't matter, whatever you want. If you wanna do dungeons, maybe the keystone is not that bad. For raids though, it is completely useless. For the runes, there is 2 options here. Of course, the best one is Lone Wolf, that is the most important, but if nobody in your guild can provide the Blessing of Kings buff, you know, the Heart of the Lion, you are gonna be forced to take it. It's not the end of the world, but it does suck. So let's assume we got the good one, let's assume we got somebody else providing that buff, we're going Lone Wolf. Now on the Hand rune, we're gonna be taking Carve. Carve is a new melee ability that you can get. It is an AoE for 50% weapon damage, it is really strong. That is one of the main reasons that hunters are performing so well right now. There is 3 fights in Omega that are very heavy on cleaving or AoE, and of course if you got a good AoE like the hunter has right now, that means they are gonna perform very well like they do. Then for the legs, we're gonna be taking Flanking Strike, it is your only melee ability here, really good. For the waist, we are gonna be taking Melee Specialist. Raptor Strike cooldown reduced to 3 seconds and it is instant. Mongoose Bite cooldown removed, we do not use that one. And Raptor Strike has a 30% chance on each attack not to trigger its cooldown. I expect the Raptor Strike reset to be one of the first nerf targets when Blizzard comes around to fixing this class, but right now this thing is really strong. Then for the feet, we are gonna be taking Dual Wield Specialization. It is more damage, it gives you instant Raptor Strikes that hit with both weapons, and then you do 30% more damage when you got 2 weapons at the same time. That is, we're gonna be using 2 fist weapons, so we're getting the 30% bonus damage on that too. This thing has so much stuff in it, like these 2 runes here, this is a book. Like, it has like 4 effects on each rune. I imagine one of those effects is gonna be taken away out of each rune. I don't know exactly how Blizzard is gonna tackle the nerfing of this class, but there is a lot of places to strike us, isn't it? Anyway, these are gonna be your runes. If you are forced to go Heart of the Lion, you gotta run a pet, you gotta get the pet with the slowest attack speed possible. I made an entire guide on a previous video if you wanna check it out, I'm gonna link it on the card, so I don't know. Now let's talk about your stat priority. agility. Thanks for coming, guys. Okay, I'm kidding. You wanna get the Bonk Maestro's handguards because they got fist weapon skill and you are gonna be using fist weapons in gnomeregan, so those are very important. Then you're gonna get around 6% hit or so. You can get even more than that without a diminishing return, but I think after that point stacking agility becomes better. And how much agility do I mean by that? Well, yes, that much. Agility gives you crit and attack power. It is multiplied by 15% extra and 10% with aspect of the lion, so it is the hardest scaling talent in the game. 10 agility is better than 1% crit. That's how stupid it is. Next you wanna get attack power. Remember that 1 strength is 1.1 attack power, so most cases flat attack power in an item is gonna be so much better than strength. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I guess you can count intellect. Mana will be an issue somewhat, not much you can do about that. Now let's break down your rotation. Your rotation is now a super simple priority system because no more melee weaving. Reddit is not happy about that. Priority means that these abilities have cooldowns, and if you have more than one of them up at the same time, you gotta do the first one in the priority. And the priority is Flanking Strike, Raptor Strike, Carve. That's it. If you are forced to take Heart of the Lion like I explained and you are running a pet, you can also take Beast Mastery Rune instead of Carve and do Wing Clip instead of Carve in the rotation, but that only works in a single target fight. If you know there is gonna be cleaving or AoE, you gotta take Carve. Oh, by the way, wanna guess what's your AoE rotation, guys? Well, I'm gonna tell you the steps. First, you cast Carve, and then you do step 1 again. Thanks. As you can see, I think a really important part of why the Hunter was so dominant early on is because the rotation got so stupid easy. So while the warriors, the mages, whatever, they had to adapt to a whole new rotation, the Hunter just got 3 buttons. Now let's talk about your weapons, okay? You want the slowest weapons possible for both your offhand and your main hand because Raptor Strike hits with both weapons, and of course they gotta scale the hardest when they are really high top end damage. Luckily there are 2 really good weapons for that in gnomeregan. They are both fist weapons like I said. Your offhand is gonna be the Cogmaster's Claw. It has really high DPS, it is super slow, and it is so dreamy. It drops off the Crowd Pommeler thing. Your main hand is gonna be epic, literally. It drops off Mexinir Thermaplug and it is insane. Mercator's Arcano Shredder, look at this thing, okay? It is as slow as it gets, it has really high DPS, and it has a proc chance to increase spell damage taken for the whole raid, and it reduces magical resistance, so everybody in your guild is gonna implore you to run this thing. Hunters have mana, so that means they can spam abilities every GCD, so they are the ideal class for keeping a debuff up with a weapon proc. If you are missing one of these weapons, you can run 2 axes and you can take the Ultrasonic Vibroblade. It also drops from the Crowd Pommeler and it reduces armor. Armor is a huge issue for the bosses in this phase, so yeah, you can wear it in either hand and your guild is probably gonna like that too. For consumables, we are gonna be taking Sagefish Delight for mana regen. There is simply nothing better here. Mana will become an issue, so that's as good as it's gonna get. Then we are gonna be taking Elixir of Greater Agility because guess what? Then the Elixir of Strength. This one is not nearly as important, but it does give you damage. Also Dragon's Breath Chili for extra AoE damage. Everything helps here. And finally you can put Mana Oil in your offhand for more mana regen. It will not mess with your Wind Fury because that goes for the main hand, so yeah, mana is mana. Finally guys, I put the ultimate melee hunter Wikora in the UI channel in my Discord. You can check it out in the description. It is basically a slightly modified Wikora from Sabimaru. It is gonna work with our new rotation. It will flash what you gotta do. It will have a lot of really nice resource tracking on it. This guy is really good at making Wikoras. I just borrowed it and changed it a little. Subscribe, leave a like, join the Discord, and thank you for watching.